traffic to a website or web application, how can you change at any time point? The traffic may be very high at some time, the traffic may be very low sometime. Okay. Suppose in India, when I have an website is there, Geo Hotstar, it will telecast the IPL, Indian Premier League. You know what happens there during that this cricket live match? Sometimes like Virat Kohli, like in India, MS Dhoni is there. When they are playing that, more number of people watch that live telecast. Then suddenly the traffic increase. That time resources need to be more resources need to be allocated. Sometimes there is less traffic, then we need to reduce the traffic resources. If we don't reduce, then what happens here? We need to pay the more money. Okay, this auto scaling feature, it will adjust the resource according to the demand, according to the demand. Okay,
Amen.
so what is the scale out? Scale out is to match the high load. What is that? High load. If more number of resources need to add, it is in a scale out. Scaling means remove. Okay, to match the low load. Okay, make sure that we have a maximum minimum number of machines are running. It can automatically adjust. Which one? Automatically adjust the new instances to load balancer. Which one? Auto scaling. Okay, auto scaling, you don't need to adjust to the instances, it will automatically add it. Auto scaling group automatically added according to the demand, according to the demand. Here what is my auto scaling group? Auto scaling group is nothing but a collection of these instances. There is auto scaling group contains minimum desired capacity and maximum capacity there. I'll just explain you what is this mean. Okay, this thing I'll explain during the practical. Here, before going to know deploy the practical of auto scaling group, so we need to know what does mean by launch instance. Okay, launch template. We
Yeah,
need to know the
sir,
launch
I
template.
have a question.
Yes.
See the previous slide you showed that says scale in and scale out. So the auto scaling group is only dealing with the horizontal scaling, or it also deals with vertical scaling
It
too?
won't deals with vertical scaling. It deals with only horizontal
Only
scaling.
horizontal.
I
Okay,
had
thank
explained
you.
you also previously in the, I think you that day you had attended a class also. Okay.
Okay.
So what does
Yeah.
mean vertical scaling was done all for database.
Yeah.
Horizontal scaling
Yeah.
doesn't support for only web application or web server.
Okay.
Okay. So before going to
Yeah.
learn about what is auto scaling, first we need to know what does mean launch template. Okay. To create auto scaling group, to create auto scaling, it is mandatory to know the launch template. AWS launch template. AWS launch template. Understand? What is my AWS launch template? AWS launch template is a predefined template which contains all configuration to create an instance. Okay. So to create a launch template, to create auto scaling, we need to know what is my launch template. So here, what does my launch template? A launch template is a predefined configuration. It is a template. Understand? What is my template? It is contain the predefined
Three.
configurations.
Yeah.
Here, a launch template is similar to launch configuration that specifies the instance configuration information. It includes the ID of the Amazon AMI, instance type, key pair, security group, and other parameters used to launch the EC2 instance. Like ready-made coffee. If you know that I want to make a coffee, I want to make something other like noodles is there, spaghetti noodles is there. So how they prepare? There are multiple things are prepared. So there are ready-made noodles are there. When you just add a boiled water, it will mix noodles. Like that, this launch template is a ready-made template. By using this launch template, we can create a EC2 instance. Like
Mm.
you know that when you created a custom AMI, previously custom AMI.
Yeah.
The same thing here, launch template contain the all configurations of the instance. Suppose I want to create EC2 instance, this is a ready-made template. By using the template, we can create a EC2 instance. We don't need to pick previously, whenever I create a EC2 instance, we need to pick which AMI is there, which type of the instance, which key pair, and all the parameters we need to select individually. Here already predefined or pre-configured. Okay. By using this all predefined configuration, we create a template. From the template, we can directly create a EC2 instance. You understand, Mohsin?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So you don't need to do this because of for creating auto scaling previously, like in 2023 September before, they had changed the all portal. Previously, we don't need any auto scale launch template. Previously, by using EC2 instance, we can create the auto scale. Right now, by creating our EC2 instance, we can't create the auto scale. Right now, first we need to create a launch template. Then only we can create auto scaling group. They make mandatory this one. Understand? Another thing is that the portal will change over the period of time. Maybe sometimes they may change for 6 months, they may change for 3 months, maybe it will be different. Okay. If you go back like 2022, 23 or 20, if the portal is having so many changes are there. Even though if you go for YouTube like 2020, 21, 22 videos, that will be different from right now. You understand? Okay. If you go for the old videos in YouTube also, there will be a lot of difference there for services right now from previous one. You understood? Hello.
Yes, yes.
So so once we have learned the cloud computing, doesn't mean that I just not use the cloud computing for 6 months, like of 1 year, like after 2 year, you will be get confused totally because of the portal will change over the period of the time. They'll make changes, brother. Portal. Doesn't mean you just store have videos. Then after 2 years, like 1 year, you watch the video. The options will be sometimes change. After 3 4 years, it will be lot of changes will be there. Okay, keep remember that every day log into the portal and try to do the practice. Okay, once you have learned the course and just leave it after after that 6 months or 1 year, when you log into the portal, you may have some changes. Understand? You understand or not?
Yes, yes.
Azure also changed. Azure even S3 is completely changed. In AWS S3, a lot of option. The complete interface is also changed. Look is also changed. Okay. Here, before creating auto scaling group, I'll just tell you that what does mean launch template. To create a auto scaling, it is mandatory to create a launch template. What is my launch template? I'll discuss that. Launch template is a predefined configuration. What is that? I think another one is there. Previous class. I just read this one. Here, create a launch template. Here, before going to create a auto scaling group, we need to create a launch template. So what is my launch template? Launch template allows to create a saved instant configuration that can be reused, shared, and launched at later time. Okay, templates can have multiple versions also. Template is what that whatever the things having a instance id parameter, all are will predefined, or you will select before creating instance. We will create a template. By using the template, we are going to create EC2 instance. It is like a ready-made coffee. Which one? Launch template. Understood? Here I am creating template here. I'm just giving the name as Java temp. Okay. Why I am creating this launch template? For fraud website, and it asking for the tag. You want to give the tag, you can give the tag here. And which operating system you need to select. It asking for the which operating system you need to select. I am selecting the, I don't have any AMI. I'm just selecting the Amazon Linux here. If you have already AMI, you can use your own EMI also. Okay, I selected Amazon Linux here and selected T2 Micro. and key pair. Previously I taken the key pair Mosin. Huh? Or else you can take this key pair also, no problem. Which one? Okay? Understand? This can you can take the old key pair. You can take the old key pair. Okay? Or else you can take the new key pair. So this network setting, whether I want to create a template and specific availability subnet, we have not studied about the subnet. Tomorrow's class will start the subnet and VPC. Tomorrow, after that you can understand. Just leave it this as it is. Okay. The availability zone also leave it as it is. We are having a security group or existing security group or create a security group. You can create a new security group or else you can create a existing security group. So suppose you want to take the existing security group, I already created one existing security group previously class. You can just go to this. What is the security group here? Mohesin SG. And you want to add EBS volume, you can add here EBS volume also. You can add EBS volume, you can add here EBS volume. So I selected the all the I have selected all parameters like what type of EMI is there, a type of one next thing is the instance type is there, and the key pair and network setting, everything is selected. Then after that create a launch template. Create a launch template. So I created a launch template. This launch template contains the all parameters like instance type, EMID, security group, and key pair, everything. So then from this launch template, we can launch like hundreds of thousands of instances. Like how the custom A, from using custom A, we create the EC2 instance. By using the launch template also, we can create EC2 instance. So whenever we create the EC2 instance, we don't need to select all the parameters. We are already predefined. From the template, we're going to create EC2 instance. Understand? You understand, Mohsin? Hello? Hello? Hello?
I understood, sir.
Okay.
He is here.
Here, see this. There is a template is there. You can check there. This template is there. This template. From the template, I am going to create EC2 instance. Just right click here.
Yes.
There is one option is there. You can see here. Launch instance from the template. When you launch the instance from the template, you don't need to select the all parameters like type of the instance, security group, security ID, all this you don't need to select. From the single click we can create the instance. It is already predefined. In that everything is predefined. You don't need to select one more time. You just select launch instance from the template. It will automatically populate it. You can check here. Everything is automatically populated. Understand? And I want to create 1,000 instances at a time, I can create 1,000 instances at a time.
Okay.
Here check here.
Yeah.
Mean that we don't need to select everything. It would automatically select a single click only. Just click on the right click and launch from EC2 instance, then automatically instances will be created. You don't need to select like what is my AMI, what is my security group, and instance type, key pair, network setting, subnet. You don't need to select anything. It will be automatically selected. Everything will automatically selected. Just click on the launch instance. Then instance will be launched. You don't need to select all this thing. It was already selected, already predefined. Understand?
Yes.
Yes. I was
Okay.
on mute.
It is
Sorry. I didn't realize.
okay. This now yes, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, now you can check here the instance. It is created.
Yeah.
The production company, like they have a production is there. They have like they want to create a like everything they will select type of instance, security group, key pair, and they will add the web application code. Everything they add. Web application code also they add. So then after the adding that one, they will create a one template. By using this template, ready-madely they will create EC2 instance with a less number of time. Again, you don't need to multiple times, don't need to pre-configuration. You don't need to select all this configuration. Everything they will create and they will create a template. By using this template, they will create a EC2 instance. It is reusable and shareable. Understand?
Yes.
So now I just delete this one. I don't need this one. For creation of the auto scaling only, we need the launch template. I don't need this instance. Okay. I don't need this instance. I just terminate this instance here. Now create a launch template. For creating the auto scaling, it is to mandate to create a launch template. Now we're going to create a auto scaling. Okay, create the auto scaling. Where we can find the auto scaling? Here in the last option, you can check here the auto scaling. Okay, under the auto scaling, just click on the auto scaling group. Click on the auto scaling. So what happens in auto scaling group? So whenever the traffic is increased, more instances are added. The traffic is no traffic is there, less automatically the instances will remove. Another thing is there, if any one of the instance having a health issue, if any one of the have instance having a health issue, if anyone is server having health issue, the old that is having the server having issue, it will be replaced with a new one. Understand? If the EC2 having an issue there, health issue, then it will remove and it will replace with a new one. You understand?
Yes.
What does mean that? I have some servers are there which is running background, which running the web application. If the server having issue, any issue, maybe some hardware issue or software issue, some health issue, it will replace with a new one. Auto scaling group will be replaced with new one. Understand?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. It will replace with a new one and also it will adjust the according to the traffic capacity. Like if more traffic is there, more resources are added. If less traffic is there, the resource will be removed. Understand? Here, see this, what is my auto scaling group? Auto scaling group is a collection of EC2 instances that treat it as a logical unit. You can configure the setting for a group, for instance, as well as define the minimum, maximum desired capacity. Setting the different minimum and maximum capacity values from bounds of your group, which allows group to be scale load on our application spike. If the application spikes higher or lower based on the demand. If the more application spike is more, then we'll like scale out, like increase the instances. If the less number of load is there, then we'll reduce the resources or instances. Okay. Here, what does auto scaling will provide? Fault tolerance will provide. What does mean fault tolerance? Detect whenever the instance is unhealthy. Detect whenever the instance is healthy, it terminate and launch the new instance and replace it. Understand
Yes.
how it is created? It will detect any one of the instances unhealthy, terminate and launch an instance to replace. And thing is, it will provide the high availability. Means that, so whenever you create auto scaling good, it will create in the multiple availability zone. If any one of the instance is having any issue, there is one availability is having issue, there is another availability zone is there to provide high availability and redundancy. Okay. And third thing is the cost management. If the demand is more, it will automatically adjust the resources, means it will add the more number of resources. Tomorrow I don't have any demand. Today I have demand, tomorrow I don't have demand, and it automatically reduce the instances. Then when this automatically instances is removed or reduced, then what happens? The cost also less. Three things it be done by the auto scaling. First thing is what? Fault tolerance. In interview, they'd ask you that what does mean by auto scaling? How does auto scaling benefits and features are there? You need to tell that what does mean fault tolerance. What is the fault tolerance? Detect when the instance is unhealthy, it will replace with a new one. What is my availability? This it will this web application or these instances will span in the multiple availability zone. If any one of the availability zone having outage is there, there is another availability zone is there. And also reduce the cost. So how the reduce cost will be reduced according to the demand. Sometimes it will reduce, sometimes it will be automatically adjusted. Okay. In on-premise data center, Suppose if we predict that there are huge demand is there, okay, there is a iPhone 17, 18 is there launching, then they're predicting that tomorrow having iPhone 18 launch, they're predicting they add the more number of servers today, okay. Then when they add the more number of servers today, then okay, tomorrow and a day after tomorrow having huge traffic is there. This whatever the servers we added, that successfully are cater the demand. But what happens after 1 week or 10 days or 1 month? We added a new server. There is no demand is there for the traffic. There is no traffic is there after 1 month. Then we need to remove. Manually we need to remove. But here we don't need to remove here. So according to the demand, the EC2 instances automatically removed by the auto scaling group. Understand? Here what is my size? Minimum size and desired capacity and maximum size. The maximum size is that this we need to specify that how much size we need to, whenever the demand is there, how many instances need to create it. Okay. Okay, see here, just going to create auto scaling group. Click on the create auto scaling group. What is the auto scaling group name? I just give the auto scaling group name as a Mosin ASC. Here see this, the launch template. Here you can see this for accounts after May 31st, 2022 EC2 consoles only to create auto scaling group with the selected only launch template. With the help of the EC2 instance, we can't create the auto scaling group. So for creating auto scaling group, we need to create a launch template. We already created a launch template. What is the launch template name here? This is the Javitum. Okay. So you don't have any version here. That is the default version. Okay, default version. So everything is pre-configured like this one. Then click on the next here. Here it asking for the VPC. We don't have any VPC because of we had selected default VPC. I just keep it same here, and we need to span in the multiple availability zone. Multiple availability zone. I selected here multiple availability zone. Okay. Then availability zone distribution is there. Two types are there. One is the balanced best effort. Second is balanced only. If launch fails in one availability zone, Autoscaling will attempt to the another availability zone. Which one balanced best effort? What is the balanced best effort? If the launch EC2 fails in the one availability zone, it will create another availability zone. Okay. Balanced only if launch fails in one availability zone, Autoscaling will continue in the attempt to the same availability zone, unhealthy availability zone, to preserve the balanced distribution. Which one? Balanced only. I'm just selecting here balanced best effort. Then click on the next here. Here. So there are multiple options are there. Whenever you create an auto scaling group, whether you want to continue auto scaling group with the load balancer, or we can integrate the load balancer with the auto scaling. Okay. Whether we want to create a auto scaling group without load balancer, or we want to create a auto scaling group with load balancer. Okay. Here if you have a already existing load balancer there, we can select the existing load balancer. I don't have a load balancer because yesterday's load balancer was deleted. Now I just selected attach a new load balancer. Click on the attach a new load balancer. There are two types of load balancer are there. One is the application load balancer, second is the network load balancer. So application load balancer works on the HTTP and HTTPS, whereas network load balancer works on the TCP and UDP. Here I selected application load balancer. Application load balancer. Here load balancer scheme is internal or external, means internet facing. Internet facing is external. If you select internal, it will do the load balancer within the data center. It won't be in the public. So here we are creating the load balancer public. We select the load balancer in internet facing. Selected a internet facing. Here see this, whenever you create a load balancer, we need a target group. Select a click on the new target group. Okay, create a target group. That target group it is automatically created. Target group is automatically created. There are again two options are there. VPS lattice integration operation. Here VPC lattice will not manage your auto scaling group network access and connectivity with other services. I want to connect with other services. We need to select on the attached to VPC lattice service. Okay. There is another option is the application recovery controller zonal shift. During the availability zone impairment, target instance launched toward other availability zone. You want to create another availability zone, you can select this application recovery control zonal shift. So what is the health checks here? Okay, what is means health checks are here? Elastic load balancer monitor the instance are available to handle requests whenever report the handle the instance. Auto scaling replaced with a new next periodic check. Okay, I don't want to select this health checks. Okay, and what does mean by how much time with health check? It is having a default is 300 seconds. We could make it as less than 300 seconds also. Okay, so I just take it. You can make it as 300 second also. We can adjust. Then click on the next here. Here, whenever you create the size, then whenever they create the size, what is the minimum capacity, what is the maximum capacity, and what is the desired capacity. I always choose that desired capacity should be more than the minimum capacity. It will be same also. What is my desired capacity? Whenever I create an auto scaling group, how many instances need to be created? That is known as the desired capacity. How many instances need to be created is known as the disease capacity. When the minimum size is nothing but whenever the load is not there, how many instances need to keep. What is the maximum capacity that when the load is increases, how many instances need to be created. The how many instances need to maximum created. Here I just create the minimum capacity as 1 and desired capacity is 2. And here maximum desired capacity as 4. I'll make it a 4. What does mean that whenever the demand is high, high, the auto scaling will adjust the EC2 instance maximum to 4 instances. 4 instances. Understand? Then how the auto scaling will be created, which based on the auto scaling created. There is one reason will be there. There are two options are there, no scaling policy and target tracking policy. When you select this target tracking policy, it asks for how the auto scaling can be done. Okay, whether you want to based on the CPU utilization, the instance need to be created. Whether based on the network inputs and outputs need to create it, or based on the load balancer request that instances will be created. Here select here average CPU utilization. Whenever the CPU utilization is more for the particular EC2 instance, that the EC2 instance will be new instance will be created. I selected here average CPU utilization. Instead of target value 5, I just give the name target value as 5. Target value as okay. Whenever the CPU utilization is more than 5%, the new instance will be created. In general, in real time, it won't happen. It will be more than 50%. For in lab, we don't have a time because of to create a load 50%, 70% takes more time. Instead of that, I selected a CPU utilization as 5%. And instance warm up time default is 300 second. I'll just make it as a 60 second. 60 second. Here again instance maintenance policies are 4 types. One is the no policy, and second one is the launch before terminating, and third one is the termination cost, and fourth one is the custom behavior. So when you select no policy for rebalancing event, no instances will be launched before terminating others. For all events, instances will terminate and launch at the same time. Second option is the priorities availability is nothing but a launch before terminating. If it is here, whenever the launch instance before the termination it will create. Okay, launch new instances, wait for them to ready before the terminating others. This allows to go about the desired capacity by given the percentage may temporarily increase the cost. What does mean that I have a demand is there. So whenever the demand is there, if and one of the server having issue, and it the first option first it will delete, then it will create the instance. But when you select the launch before terminating the instance, another new one will be created. And third thing is the terminate and launch. First terminate and launch the instance. And the fourth one is the custom behavior. We can select according to our requirement. Here additional capacity selecting, I have selected default. I don't want to do the scale in production. I don't want to do the scale in production. Select on next year. Select on next year. Select on next year. Then everything is selected. Then create a auto scaling group. Create a auto scaling group. So here auto scaling group will create the number of instances at selected desired capacities to. By using the launch template, it will create a two instances because we need the first time desired capacity 2 mean that EC2 instance will be created by 2. Auto scaling will create by 2. When the demand is there, so I had defined that how many instances need to create maximum 4. When the demand is high, it will create maximum 4. Understand? Now this auto scaling group will create how many instances? Desired capacity is 2. How many instances will be created? 2 instances will be created. Whenever the demand is high, then what happen? It will create how much? We defined 4. It will create 4. And another thing is there, any one of the instances from the desired capacity goes down, it will replace with new one. Understand?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Here see this. There is one already instances created. Okay. Now it will create two instances. Two instances. You can check here how many instances are created. How many instances are created?
Two.
Why it is two? Because we had defined the what is the desired capacity? Two.
Yeah, maximum.
Okay. What is the maximum capacity?
Two.
Maximum capacity is how much?
Four, right? Maximum capacity.
Yes, 4. How much Kamran? Hello?
You might be
Are
on
you
mute
there?
also.
Is left out or something? Hello? Kamral? Are you there?
I think he might be on mute. Come on, are you on mute?
Okay, no problem.
Okay. Oh, he said he can't unmute for some reason. Yeah, I got muted also. It froze. He said he's muted. He cannot unmute for some reason.
Okay.
You can hear. I have a question.
Okay. Okay.
For this auto scaling. So does it use a load balancer to determine
Yes.
the health? And
Yes.
then,
Yes.
like, you know
Yes.
how
Yes.
balancer you said yesterday that it switches to the second server, third server, and
Yes.
if the first
We
server
can integrate.
health
We
is
can integrate both. Both. We can integrate both.
oh,
So how many instances created? Two
two.
instances. So why it is getting error? It's having portal issue. Slowly loading is. I think having internet issue is there.
I think maybe.
Yes, internet issue is there something.
Mhm.
and getting low speed. Are you getting my voice properly?
Yes.
Why it has happened? Okay. Here, what happens when you delete one server? If I delete one server one, then what happens?
You could create one, right?
Yes, exactly. It will replace with another one. Okay, it will replace with another one. So
Yes.
what does auto scaling do? There are three things auto scaling do. The first thing is it will provide the fault tolerance. So what is my fault tolerance? Mean that if anyone having server having health issue, it will terminate and it will replace with a new one. Okay. Another thing is there, according to the demand, it will replace the add the more number of instances. And third thing is there, it will provide the cost effectiveness. Mean the so whenever no demand is there, it will automatically adjust the capacity and it will reduce the EC2 instances.
Mm-hmm.
Portal issue. One, this thing. Okay, done. Then I just click on this instance here, right click here. Just containment. Okay, into
Mm-hmm.
tenant.
Isn't this one terminated?
Yes, tenant. Now check here, another one is running. See, this server one is deleted. It was created another one. See this initialization.
Mm-hmm.
You can check here,
Mm-hmm.
status check. What happened here?
It's replaced by another.
Another one. Okay. The same thing here. We're going to log into the instance. We'll create some load. We'll create some load. When the load is applied, then what happens? It will create another two because of maximum instances we had, how many we had selected? 4. So we're going to log into the instance, one instance. Then we're going to some set a load. How will we set a load? For setting the load here, we need to use a command or a tool called stress. Okay, stress command. Okay, stress. Okay,
Stress.
by using this stress we can put the stress on the uh, computer, that nothing but EC2. So it will have CPU utilization will be more, then we will generate some load on the CPU. Then when the load is generated, what happens, that load is detected with the auto scaling group, it will create more number of instances, nothing but a add another two. You understand? So because we
Yes.
need to create some stress, because of we don't have any like to put the load, extra load, we'll observe that real time how the auto scaling group will create the more number of instance. What is the stress? Stress is the command line tool for Linux based operating system. It is designed to access the performance and reliability of the hardware software by simulating high load environment. Okay. Stress is the command line tool in the Linux to test the performance and reliability of the computer system. It has a variety of use cases like system scalability testing, performance analysis, bug testing. Here we're going to install the stress tool. Okay, and by installing stress tool, we're going to put the stress in the auto scaling group. In tracking policy, we have selected a CPU utilization. We're going to put the stress on the CPU utilization. To put the stress on the CPU utilization, we need to use minus minus CPU or hyphen hyphen CPU. Okay, nothing is nothing but is minus C. To put the stress on the CPU, will have a command is minus C. Suppose I want to put the stress on the storage, we need to use minus D command. Suppose you want to stress on the memory, use minus V. If you want to stress on the input output device, use minus I. And T is the timeout. Next, how much time we need to put the stress. I want to put the stress for 10 seconds. Minus T is the nothing but define the time frame. How much time you need to set the stress. For using this command, you can check here how to use here. Stress minus C, 8 means how much stress you need to put, like how many threads are CPU you need to do the stress. And minus timeout means how much time you need to do the stress. Like I want to do the stress for 10 seconds, I want to do the stress for 20 seconds, like that. Okay, so we're going to launch this, we're going to connect to the instance. Then by connecting to the instance, then we're going to log into the instance, we'll put the stress. Okay, once the stress is there, when the stress is more, then it will create more number of instances. Okay, so what happened here? Whether the internet is slow or my computer is slow. 1 minute. Why this memory is 99%? There is
Sorry?
a RAM issue
Oh,
there.
yeah, your Firefox is for some
Uh,
reason very high.
yes,
Firefox is taking too much.
I, th- I don't think. I'm going to log into the Chrome. Okay. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Yes.
I think having some issue with the internet, my computer. That's why I just log into the Google Chrome. Okay. So what happens
Mm-hmm.
here? I created auto scaling group. Then after auto scaling group, then I created a desired capacity set as 2 instances. When I try to delete the instance, what happened? When I try to delete the instance, what happened? It will replace with a new one. Do you observed? Kamran? Kamrul? Hello? I think he's not.
I think he
Okay.
cannot.
Okay. I go to the EC2 instance, then check that auto scaling is created two server.
Um,
Okay.
it says content sharing is ended.
Yes.
Content sharing has ended. You're
One
not
minute. One
sharing.
minute. 1 minute. Now it is okay.
Yes.
Now how many instances created? Before it created two. Then when delete here, what happens here? It will replace it with a new one. Replace with the new one. Can you check here? Here. It was terminated.
Yeah.
Yes, this server one is terminated or not? It was terminated.
Server one is terminated.
It
Yes.
will replace with the new one. It will replace with the new one. Okay. Understood?
Mm-hmm.
Now we're going to log into the instance. I'm going to put the stress. Going to put the stress. I'm just logging the instance by using the Git terminal. Okay. Going into the terminal by using the Git terminal.
Okay.
Then I will going to put the stress. Another thing is there, if you delete EC2 instances, it will create more. Okay. Unless something, if you don't delete auto scaling group only, it will create automatically. If you don't auto scaling group, you won't able to delete the EC2 instances because the auto scaling group is
Mm-hmm.
already enabled. Okay. Whenever I delete EC2 instance, again I will more time to create it. Okay.
Right.
So here, click on the login sudo su. Okay. What happened? Then here we need to put the stress. What is the command to put the stress here? One more time I'll show you this. One more time I'll show you this command. Okay. How to put the stress?
You have to use a stress command, right? Okay.
Here, see the stress. What is how to install? If we are using Ubuntu, we need to type apt install stress. If you are using Amazon Linux or Red Hat Linux, we need to use dnf install stress. dnf install stress. Or else you can use m
Stress.
install stress also. M install stress. Okay. So now I connected to instance here and I type here to install the stress here m install stress. M install stress. Now stress is installed. Then after that we're going to put the stress on the EC2 instance. To put the stress on the EC2 instance, what is the command? This is the command. Okay. Stress minus C.
Stress.
Okay. What is the command here?
And then options. Yeah.
Stress minus C
Mm.
minus 8 timeout and a 10. Okay. 10. 10 means how much time we need to put the stress? Like 10
Mm.
second. Like a 10 second.
Stress.
Here I'll make it as a stress as for 120 second and how many CPU stress I'll